I'm Thad Brown, that's Carl Jones. We are getting you ready for Bills training camp, going position by position. We're also playing that world-famous game, Yes, No, Kinda, to explain what we think about where the Bills are at in each particular spot. Today we're talking about the Bills at safety, and the strength here, to me, is experience. Not just with these two guys, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, who have been together for years. They know the Sean McDermott defense backwards and forwards. You can't ask for anything else in terms of knowledge. But on top of that, the Bills grabbed Taylor Rapp to be their third safety. This guy has 48 starts. He played every snap pretty much for the Rams the last 2 years. And then even Damar Hamlin, assuming he's all the way back, and I think at this point he's just a football player, he's your fourth safety. But this is the guy that played significant snaps last year as well. So you've got four guys there to where no matter which one's on the field, the guys should know what they're doing. How much of an impact, how big a deal is this strength in terms of, is it a big deal in terms of how much the Bills can build the season upon it? Yes, no, kind of.
Yes, we saw last year when Micah Hyde went down early on in the season. The communication aspect of that position right there is vital. Now, I know a lot of that had to do with Trey White not being there, so it's, the quartet back there got to be as one. But when those two are back there, there's not a lot of coverage busts. There's not a lot of issues in terms of communication, and they've seen everything, regardless if it's formation, scheme, whatever Sean McDermott's telling them in their helmet. Those two have seen it all. So, and obviously, when I talk about those two, Taylor Rapp, once again, out there in LA, he's been solid out there as well. And then we saw Damar Hamlin hold his own for the 15 or so games he was playing. You can hold your hat on the fact that every single snap, those two aren't going to mess up. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing like, as a coach, when you call a play, I'm not worried about the most important guys in terms of giving up an explosive play. That helps out a ton as a defense.
And what Brandon Beane, I think, has done very well is just do the obvious thing. Do the thing that makes the most sense. They had a problem last year where when these two guys were out, there were significant issues with who came in at safety, because it's a problem they really haven't had to face as long as Poyer and Hyde have been in Buffalo. So Beane went out and fixed it by grabbing Taylor Rapp, to where I wonder how they'll use Rapp, and we'll get to that a little more in a minute. But you wonder if there's an opportunity here to play Rapp just to give these guys a break to kind of, protect the tread on the tires. Either way, you've got a third guy in there who now you'll not be in a situation at safety where if you're missing Hyde or Poyer, you're just dead back there in terms of figuring out what to do. The weakness in this group, and I just touched on it a little bit, I think is the age at the top with these two guys. Poyer's 32, Hyde's going to turn 33 later this year. They're both coming off very injury-plagued seasons. Hyde missed almost the entire season, and although Poyer played through a bunch of stuff, he did not look anywhere close to where he was at. You wonder how much of that is age. I think a good chunk of it is about the injury. But it's not like they're getting younger. They're going further down the backside of the mountain when it comes to their career. How much can the issues with age, the potential risk with injury, will it be something that could submarine this Bills season? Yes, no, kinda.
100%, yes. I know people don't want to talk about it, but it is what it is. You don't get any younger in football, and you just fall off a cliff at times, especially in positions that rely on athleticism a lot. It's not like just one day we're going to be like, you can see like the fall come of one of these two players. It's just going to happen overnight. Is it this year? Is it next? I don't know. Poyer, you saw it a little bit last year because of the injuries. In that Bengals game, you can tell with the elbow, I think he had a knee injury as well. He just wasn't all the way there. He wasn't all pro. If those two, especially if we're going to talk about this Bills defense in its entirety, those are two of your best players. And if those two guys aren't at that all-pro level, that severely, dampens the elite level talent that they have. Because outside of that, we got a bunch of B+ type of guys. You need those guys to be A+ guys if you want this defense to be the unit that you want to be.
I think to kind of put it in perspective with what we talked about the strength of this team being experience, last year when Poyer and or Hyde was out, the guys they had to play were like here. Poyer and Hyde are like this, all right? So this is a monster jump. Now this year with the Rapp, they're probably in the middle, but this is still a big jump here, which is why when you think about a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, I agree with you, the age risk factor with these two guys, yes, is a big deal for this team. The X factor for me with this group is Taylor Rapp. And with other X factors, we've talked about, like Ed Oliver was one of these, Kyer Elam on defense. These are guys where the talent's there, but you don't know if you're going to get it. I think the range of potential seasons for those two guys is pretty wide. I think with Taylor Rapp, we know what we're going to get. We're going to get a solid player, not great, good starter. He's a younger guy too, ascending. You might get a little more out of him. But the thing with him that makes him an X factor, from my point of view, how are the Bills going to use him? Is he just a straight backup? I mean, he could be here just to sit on the bench in case one of these guys gets hurt. I mean, that might be what it is. Yeah. They're only paying him $1.7 million. You know, it's not like they're paying him to be a guy who's supposed to play. That's backup money. And you know, as good a season as he had last year, and Pro Football Focus liked it a lot, the Rams let him walk, and no one else gave Rapp more money than the $1.7 million the Bills got. Now, if they are going to play him, what do? Do you say, okay, we're going to give Poyer a series off every game, we're going to give Hyde a series off every game, and Rapp you're going to play, because he could probably play both spots. Are you going to use him as an extra nickel? You play 3 of them together. Well, if you want to do that, who are you taking off the field? Because you're not taking Trey White off, you're not taking Taron Johnson off, you're not taking Matt Milano off. Do you play him instead of that middle linebacker? So what the Bills do with Taylor Rapp and the number of snaps he gets, to me, is the X factor. How much of Taylor Rapp playing? Is it a big deal? Can it be the kind of thing that swings the Bills' season? Yes, no, kind of.
I don't think it will, because I don't think he's the type of player who is going to change his talent level. I don't think warrants a season swinging one way or the other. When you talk about the dime package where he will come in and replace a linebacker, how often are you going to be in that unit to where it's going to affect a down-by-down basis? And I know that's a possibility that I'm sure they're going to practice ad nauseum at St. John Fisher here. But I don't see him in his past. He hasn't shown that capability to be a game-changing player. Maybe a change of scenery does that, but based off what I've seen, the Rams let him walk. And the Rams are a team, I don't know if you've seen the roster, they could use anyone right now.
It ain't good.
It's not good at all.
Right.
So to let him walk, and obviously there could have been a lot of things. He could have just won it out, and but the fact of the matter is, like you said, he's making 1.7. A guy of that magnitude is a backup, point blank period. You would love for him to step in and be a spot for if one of these two were to go down, but I'm not expecting him to change much of anything in terms of the big picture of the defense.
The one caveat I will say to that is that Sean McDermott has been kind of a defensive back whisperer. And really, Poyer, when he came to Buffalo, wasn't much more than what Taylor Rapp is right now. So the potential is there for a jump and an improvement. But I think your answer is still the right answer. Until we see that improvement, you can't look at Taylor Rapp as a guy that's going to swing a season. He's solid depth. He might give you a few more options with other things to do. But I think there's some people who expect, well, Taylor Rapp is here to be a big part of the defense. I don't see how he's going to do it, if only because the guys the Bills already have are guys that they don't want off the field to play Taylor Rapp, who's maybe just a little bit better than a replacement level player. Okay, you're all ready to go at safety. Thanks for watching. For Carl, I'm Thad. Please click on something else here at rochesterfirst.com.